Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 293, as we are continuing the long and dangerous trek westward to the Far Lands, constantly surrounded by spiders and burning skeletons that come out of nowhere. Where the heck did that guy come from? And Wolfie. We have Wolfie to be surrounded by as well. Block off the previous episode's hidey hole, pick up some free skeleton residue, yoink, and continue west, as I said. I think I probably, get rid of that too, I don't need that. Continue west towards the Far Lands in this Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, the final version of Minecraft to have contained the Far Lands. Were removed in the 1.8 adventure update, and they will not be returning in even this latest update 1.7 full release that they're working on right now as we speak, with additional terrain updates and whatnot. They will not be returning. They were a bug. It was a problem with the game. But these are the things that interest me the most. As you can see, we're already experiencing a bug of walking so far. We got this jitteriness going on in the ground. It's rounding errors with the floating point, the floating decimal that estimates where we are in our XY coordinates. The rounding off has become larger and larger as the numbers get larger and larger, I guess you could say. And you can even tell, well, you can't tell like that, but yeah, you can tell the box selection is off as well, as you can see. Right there. That only happens when you're so far away from 0, 0. Far out, man! So that is the explanation for that. A lot of people always ask that in every episode of Far Lands or Bust, which is a good thing. It means new people are finding the series and perhaps might also be interested in contributing and spreading the word about the fact that this is a walk-a-thon for Child's Play charity. We have been raising Child's Play charity. We have been raising Child's Play charity. No, we have been raising money for Child's Play charity since June 2011. And this, our 4th season, our goal is $100,000. And we are currently at the beginning of this episode, $43,988.30. So almost up to 44% here. Thumbs up. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. You can do that at farlandsorbust.com. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a redesign. I feel like the Child's Play charity donation widget is a little bit... It's not as prominent as I would like to see it. So I might kind of block that out as its own kind of separate thing. Like, this is the first thing you see on the homepage. And then you can scroll down and see the brief explanation as to what Far Lands or Bust is. The latest episode, which I sometimes get around to updating or not. I don't have any. I should figure out how to write a script to find the latest video in this playlist or whatever and put that on the website. But I am but a simple HTML web designer. I do not have any scripting, Java scripting, PHP scripting, CGI scripting knowledge or anything like that, so I basically manually go in and replace the HTML every day I come out with a new Far Lands or Bust video, so woo! Manual labor, I guess. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so Child's Play charity, if you want to donate, that's on the homepage of farlandsorbust.com, and with your donation, you can leave a comment and something, you can leave anything, but questions, more so than not, that I can have topics get up. I can have topics to talk about, because the Far Lands are far, far away. Do I have? I'm looking. The world is loading somewhat slowly. The world is over 9 gigabytes right now, and all I've been doing is walking in a single straight line, deviating from now and again, but a single straight line from spawn to out here, and I will not press F3 until we reach that $100,000 goal. F3 gives you your coordinates. Pre-built hidey hole, creepy muse. Oh, guess not. Was there water over there? So yeah. that's how that works, and I appreciate you guys following along, and any new Farlanders who have recently joined the journey. Over the last 3 episodes, I was recapping PAX. I went to PAX Prime a couple weekends ago. The weekend was that Labor Day weekend? Or was that Memorial Day? No, that's Labor Day. Memorial Day is the beginning of summer, quote unquote. Labor Day weekend. And I talked about the convention and the people and the Mindcrack meetup and all that stuff. And last time I talked about Seattle itself and just the trip as a tourist, I suppose. I forgot to mention, though, something I did want to talk about. PAX, in addition to being primarily video games, obviously, but they also concentrate on other such geeky things. In addition to just video games, they also have a big concentration in tabletop gaming, board games and such. And one of the days we were quite tired. Was it Sunday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday. Getting a little bit tired of walking around and doing the whole convention hall thing, so we checked out the free play area where they have a bunch of games that you can just check out and find a table with open seats and play. We were able to do that, and because there was about 8 or 9 of us, it was myself, the Mindcrack guys, Jay Sano, Good, Pause, it was Brian, Lorgon 111, it was Seth Bling and Jordan, aka Captain Sparkles, Aurelian, and Vaughn, and I believe that was everybody. I'm probably forgetting somebody, and myself. We're playing Cards Against Humanity. Now, I've heard, being a person who dwells on the internet quite frequently, I've heard a lot over the past year about Cards Against Humanity. I never got that much to look into it, but everybody from Will Wheaton to just random people I follow on Twitter are just constantly raving about how amazing Cards Against Humanity is as an amazing game and a golden gift from heaven. And so I never quite understood the premise of it, obviously, until we played. And, I'd only known it as seeing some of the cards, and they have funny, very risque and outrageous sayings on them, and you match the cards up for some reason. I didn't quite understand it. That's really all there is to understand. I thought there was some sort of more complicated hook. I look at card games like Uno, or, other card games that I've played in the past, and there's always some sort of clever hook or a little bit more complicated thing to understand. And I suppose maybe this is some of the attraction of Cards Against Humanity, is it's pretty much as simple as beer pong, but in card form. But I was instantly turned off. I'm like, oh, that's it? You just have to try to get the funniest card for whoever you're playing with, and then they choose it and you get the point? That's it? That's literally it. So first, right away, had a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth from that, where I was like, really? Are you sure do we need to read the instructions? I feel like there should be something else happening here. But no, there is not anything else happening there. And just in general, yes, there were plenty of hilarious things that happened. And everybody enjoyed the fact that they got to hear me swear or say dirty, dirty things. Which I will refrain from really talking about specifically, since Farlands or Bust is sometimes watched by the younger crowd. I try to keep it. I make no promises ever, but I try my best. Woo, Wolfie, sit. This is interesting. I gotta kind of take a look. See. Whoa, this is not the place to be looking down. Let's see here. Look at that. Why is that doing that? Woof. It's a crazy place. It's really cool though. Not quite the dark and magical pit of bottomless destiny, but a cool place indeed. So yeah, there's funny stuff. Funny stuff happened. But I don't think anything more funny than usually happens in our group, where we just constantly either rib on each other or just try to, people say something, you try to make a snazzy one-liner in response. So I really wasn't impressed with Cards Against Humanity, to be honest. The people who make it have it's one of those pet rock type ideas. They've certainly been, I'm sure, rolling in it after coming up with the concept and printing them out and selling them, there was always a line around the Cards Against Humanity booth at PAX. I guess they have some sort of PAX exclusive box of cards and stuff like that. It is kind of a, collect them all, and you have this booster pack or this edition or this funny, crazy little side edition or stuff like that. So I'm not saying it's a scam or anything like that. It's a very simple, and it is, I suppose, this generation's pet rock from what I can tell. But let's go to sleep. And that's kind of the most I had to say about that. I'll probably wrap it up in the morning, but let's go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. Why am I not going to sleep? I'm starving. And Cards Against Humanity-ness. Do I have enough? Yeah, I got enough bones for Wolfie. Woof. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. Yes, there is the whole social aspect of it that I might not be a huge fan of. A lot of the guys there were saying, you really have to be good friends with the people you play with and know what it is that should make them laugh, because then you have the advantage, because that's the card you'd want to play. The majority of people also said you need to be drunk, which I don't know if there are that many activities that I would say, well, I'm not going to do this unless I'm drunk. I don't think that's quite my personality. So might not be the game for me. That's all I'm saying. I know it's not a popular stance. A lot of people love Cards Against Humanity, but I'm afraid that is my opinion of it. We played it once again later on that weekend. Actually, the last night of that weekend. Why am I getting to bed? I want to get a boat. The last night, and a few different people, but similar experience, I would say, myself. So I'm also just in general, I've mentioned this before, not much of a board game, card game, sit around a table game type of person either. I've never liked Monopoly or any of those. The Game of Life, that stupid little spinny thing that always gets caught, on Life. You spin it, and it feels like it's going to be a good spin, but then it goes and then just stops, and you're like, son of a cheap piece of 5-cent plastic. So not much of a board game person in general anyway. So oh well. I tried it twice, and I personally, some people, I guess, after playing it the first time, go out and buy all the booster packs from Amazon or wherever. No, I'm quite all right not having that in cluttering up my closets or whatever. So that was my kind of PAX thoughts on Cards Against Humanity, and I think that pretty much wraps up PAX for me, I guess, in my review. I know I was kind of back and forth about recording stuff, doing vlogs. Kind of not really big on the vlogs. I really didn't even take any pictures at all. The only pictures I took are the ones that you guys, if you check out my Twitter, I took a picture with Gavin from Slow Mo Guys when I ran into him. Careful Wolfie. Took a picture with Jamie from Child's Play Charity. And whatever few pictures I had with the Mindcrack guys in the group and stuff. It's mostly was up to other people to document my time there. So I went, I saw, I enjoyed for the most part, and now I'm glad to be home. And after a little bit of a slow start in getting the wheels churning, I've finally gotten back up on the video making horse here, getting some good Kerbal Space Program stuff out, dealing with a lot of, once I get back on the horse is when YouTube. What's the deal with YouTube lately? They are doing a lot of changes to the video player, you can tell. If I personally, I don't watch my videos full screen because I'm often doing stuff in the background or foreground. But I do watch in the kind of extended 720p window. And now, that used to be a single click. You'd click on the little icon that was next to the full screen icon that said just bigger player or whatever, and it would go to it. Now they've hidden it in the UI of the player, and you have to click and then click again. And it's also where the the 720 to, you know, HD, the quality selector is. I don't like that at all. And I feel like they've simultaneously been adjusting their processing, their video quality. Hey guy, you're happy. The video quality processing thing, because I've had, and other people have said, BWO has mentioned how he's been having to mess around with his rendering settings out of Sony Vegas, because I suppose if you don't upload your own videos, you don't realize this, but you render your video to as high a quality with a balance of file size as you want, or as you can, and, you know, my videos, all when I play them on my local drive, play very smoothly and very crisp. Well, smoothly, except for Far Lands or Bust. Just, that's not a video problem, that's the game. Very smoothly, very crisp, no artifacting or anything like that, but when you upload a video to YouTube, it basically re-renders it to match their own format, their kind of, I don't know if it's proprietary, but their own, you know, web playing format, and it loses quality, but it's lost a lot of quality lately. I yesterday uploaded a new video in BeamNG Drive, and it's not anything unusual that's happening in that game, but it just did not, you know, it's just all this JPEG artifacting whenever there's any sort of, it's at, you know, it's at random times too. It doesn't seem like it's, oh, there's a lot going on the screen, so you get the artifacting. It's just like random times getting a lot of artifacting. I re-rendered it with different settings and re-uploaded it, but still had the same problems. That's really annoying. I am quite the perfectionist and stickler for quality, as much as I possibly can be. I could go nuts, but then I would never get any work done. So I've reached a nice balance on what I feel is good quality video and audio. Audio is very important to me. I've recently had to upload some videos because another issue I'm having with YouTube is the content ID thing. I won't talk about that, but recently uploaded some old Driver San Francisco videos, and listening to the microphone quality I had, I don't know why I stuck with that as long as I did. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I think I might have still been editing with Windows Movie Maker at that point, so like the audio is all peaked out and hard limited and stuff like that. Why did you guys continue to subscribe? But yeah, I'm much happier with my much more fancy microphone setup and audio quality. Is there a hole over here? There's a hole! Ooh, there's also zombies over here. It might be a spawner? No, I think it might just be a dark area. Oh, that's definitely a spawner. Huh. That's gotta be a spawner. Okay, never mind. I'm leaving. Like I've said many times before, if I can't see the spawner visibly, I'm not going to pay any attention to it anymore. I have wasted a lot of time in the past searching for hidden spawners. Sheeps. Bloop. But yeah, anyway, I'm a stickler for quality, so when I do my best to get as much quality into my videos as possible, and then YouTube strips it right out, I'm a little bit concerned. So hopefully that gets resolved. Sub boxes have problems, a lot of problems lately. I've been publishing videos on a schedule, and then I still see the spinny sending out to your subscribers' feeds 3 hours later, and so I know people are missing videos. So that stinks. And I know when they do finally get sent to the subscribers' feeds, they are probably listed in the order in which they're supposed to be published, so they're way down your line of feeds, and you missed it probably. So be patient, be very kind to your local YouTuber, as I like to say. Those likes always help. I do sometimes in an off kind of way, but I rarely ever, like, ask for likes too much. I just have text in my end slates that say, hey, if you like this, remember to click like. And that's, the only people who see that are the people who stick around to the end of videos anyway, so that always helps. Ow! That was... You did alright with that, but I twisted my ankle. So anyway, yeah. YouTube going crazy. YouTube. It feels like, are these days going faster than normal? What are we at? 20 minutes? No, I guess not. So yeah, let me get to some questions. A lot of good questions from donors over to Child's Play Charity at farlandsorbust.com. One of them from an anonymous donor was, what pets do you have other than Speedy? None! No pets. If none, what is your favorite pet that you've had before? Speedy is the only pet that I've had, main pet, like an actual pet. You know, I've had goldfish before, you know, those last about 2 weeks or whatever when I was little. We had in our elementary school, was it 3rd or 4th grade, we had some sort of project where we had to build a terrarium. And, you know, we put dirt on the bottom, we planted grass seeds and different seeds and plants and things, and then over the weeks we saw how the environment grew and we had to water it and give it light and stuff like that. And then, as kind of a special surprise, which I don't know nowadays if they would ever do this, or there's definitely questionable humanitarian, a ravine, questionable animal rights questions going along with this, but as a surprise, we came in one day after the project was over, but we still had our terrariums, and there were those little green lizards, the anoles, I believe they are called, A-N-O-L-E. The teacher had put these lizards to live within these terrariums, and at the end of the year, provided they were still alive, some of them might not have been, we got to take them home, which parents must have loved. Congratulations, your kid is now coming home with a pet. And I had that one for a couple months, but they ate crickets and stuff, and one day it got a bad batch of crickets, I'm pretty sure, and it died. It died. That was quite sad. Let's go to sleep here. Very sad music for the loss of our green lizard. And awakeness. And ow, dang it! My boots must be taking a beating. Its name, as I'm sure you guys are wondering, the name of the anole, the little lizard guy, was Kross, as in the popular young rap duo who wear their pants and clothing backwards, Kross. It was the early 90s. Give me a break. Yeah, Kross was the only other quote-unquote significant pet that you could say I ever had. Never dogs, never cats. Was not in a family that could handle those or wanted those even. So it was a little lizard that lasted a few months, and Speedy, who has lasted a few decades. So that is where that goes. But thank you very much for that question. Another anonymous question. You mentioned getting a new car. What would your hypothetical dream car? Period. You mean B? What would my hypothetical dream car be? Or what would be your hypothetical dream car? It would be, dream car is hard to say. It wouldn't be a daily driver. I really like the old classic cars, 50s and stuff like that. So dream car is different from car I'm probably going to end up with car, which would probably, I've mentioned this many times before, I do like the Subarus. All the people I've ever known who've owned Subarus are, extremely adamant about their reliability and the fact that whatever cars they've had before this, they're like, nope, it's Subarus all the time now. So I really like the idea of getting a Subaru. Are you going to get like a WRX STI or something? No, I don't really, again, I'm thinking of a daily driver. I'm very practical. Wolfie knows I'm very boring and practical. And I would probably get, I like the Impreza, the base Impreza, not the WRX. They're separate models now. They used to be kind of built on the same platform. But the new Impreza it gets like 40 miles to the gallon because it has one of those variable transmissions, constantly variable transmissions, and a lot more power than my old Cavalier that I'm driving right now. And speaking of the Cavalier, that problem keeps popping back up, and I keep having to take it to the dealership. It happened again, where basically a cylinder gets shut down is basically what happens. They before replaced the fuel injector they said was clogged. A little bit skeptical about that now because it happened... That was about 6 months ago. It happened last month before my trip to PAX. And then it recently happened earlier this week, and I had to take it in. And they just had it for like an hour, and I was asking for a courtesy car because I wanted them to figure out what the heck was going on, and I need a car to get back home. So I'm like, hey, you've got a few nice Camaros out front. Perhaps I could just take that home. But no, they wanted to, well, we'll take a look at it really quickly here, and if it's something big, then yes, we'll give you a car. But they jiggled some cables and straightened out some connectors and things just to make sure, and it was back up and running. So it's, you know, all of this trouble I've gone through with spark plug changes and fuel injector changes and things are probably not the problem. It's probably some sort of sensor or computer or cable or something that they're missing. If it keeps happening, I don't know. I don't want to like take it to another place because this place has the history and has the warranty. You know, these last few times I haven't paid anything because it's supposed to be fixed. So catch-22. So yeah, no matter what is my problem. No matter what they do to say, yes, it's fixed now, we found it, I'm still always going to be worried that the thing is going to drop a cylinder on the middle of the tollway on my way to or from the airport, from Minecon or some other trip or something like that. So it has become a little bit more urgent that I consider a new vehicle, which is something I'm not looking forward to, both budgetarily and also just dealing with that. Probably that, doing taxes, buying a house, and paying off like college loans are probably some of the least favorable activities in life to ever be undertaking. Buying a car, buying a house, doing your taxes, or paying off student loans. So, woo! Everything's coming up, Millhouse. Let's turn to some positive things here. From Delta Whiskey, during UHC, Ultra Hardcore with the Mindcrack guys, have you ever... Whoop, where did that go? Have you ever been tempted to use your particular talent, insert the drop noise, to hear water, quote-unquote, in order to dig towards it? No, because... Well, I can't do it now. There we go. That sounds nothing like the actual Minecraft sounds, first of all. Second of all, it wasn't until recently that we started implementing the rule that you can't dig anywhere unless you hear something, so I wouldn't need to do that. Third of all, I'm no cheater. I have gotten as far as I have gotten in Mindcrack Ultra Hardcore because I am awesome. I am the Iron Curtain. I was once the Iron Curtain, but I have fallen many times since then. The Iron Curtain has fallen off of its curtain rod. So... As they say, floating slab of snow, you are... Whoa! How dare you? Let's get out of it. Oh, gosh darn it. Cheaty Snow, Vex Snow. Let's see. So yeah, no, I have never been tempted to do that because that would just be ridiculous. Hey guys, it's water. I can hear water. That's exactly what Minecraft water sounds like, does it not? That was Luke. No, that was Delta Whiskey who asked that question. From Lucas, I was just curious whether you subscribe to any of the science and education channels on YouTube, such as Minute Physics, or the 60 Symbols. Actually, yes, 60 Symbols was actually one of the first YouTube channels I subscribed to, and kind of the first time something clicked in my head and said, hey, this YouTube thing here, people are starting to make actual content that rivals and is more interesting than the content you see on TV. So I will subscribe to this and receive it in episodic serialization. So yeah, 60 symbols. From that, Brady, the same guy who makes all these different series, does periodic table of elements, or periodic videos, sorry, and other such similar science videos and stuff. So I definitely subscribe to all of those. Recently, I mean, there's a bunch more, Minute Physics. I mean, even like the Vlog Brothers do kind of sciencey stuff. They have SciShow. But along the same lines, I've recently, I found a channel, and I did the classic YouTube watching thing after you find a channel that's already existed for a bit. Binge watched all the episodes of The Brain Scoop, which has recently been kind of taken under the wing of Hank Green, is now a producer-creator. I guess he's kind of sponsoring the show and helping with its spread and stuff like that. But it was, her name is Emily Grassel, or something like that. She is, or at least was, a volunteer at a University of Minnesota or something like that, of their biological collections. So basically all the skulls, all the kind of furs, and you know, the animals in jars and things like that. And you know, a majority of the show was her preparing new animals to be stuffed and studied and displayed and things like that, as they do in museums. It was really just really fascinating stuff. You know, kind of, you think about how the beginnings of like Mythbusters and things started. It's very, you know, still kind of thrown together, you know, just one camera, you know, and her, and kind of, she's very, you know, she's doing this, she studied museum studies and how to do this, but she's still, in terms of making videos, kind of amateurish, but it's still very cool in that regard. Since then, and more recently, the Field Museum here in Chicago has hired her to do the Brain Scoop from their museum. So now she went from this small, without any even public display, museum collection at the University of, is it Minnesota or Nebraska or something like that? I apologize if I got that wrong. But to the Field Museum, if not one of the biggest museum in North America, the world. I'm sure maybe some museums in New York and the Smithsonian might compete, but yeah, that's crazy. So she's right here in Chicago making videos, and it's really cool seeing. I've been to the Field Museum many times, field school trips, even recently in my adult situations, adult life and stuff like that. So it's really cool seeing the behind the scenes of that, because really, especially in the Field Museum, 99% of their collections are not on display. They're all behind closed doors. And I actually, somebody from my, let's have a seat, thank you, from my astronomy club, he, older guy, but he volunteers, and I always got very cool stories from him. He volunteers in the Field Museum collections. He, I think, has experience, light, I need light, experience with, what's the study of bugs, beetles and things? I don't know what that is. I forgot it. But he goes through those collections, and he's always had interesting stories about how, you know, all these old artifacts were brought in late 1800s, early 1900s, 1930s, and he has to recatalog them because the pens that the little numbers and information were written at are wiped off, or they've lost tags and things like that. He talks about the kind of underground vaults and things, and there's a big, what they apparently somewhat affectionately call the monster door. It's like a big, I'm assuming it's like a fire door, a big thing that would close in case there's a fire to protect the things behind the door, but they call it the monster door, kind of, for anybody who's seen Relic. The movie Relic was filmed in the Field Museum, Chicago. It's kind of a monster that was an artifact, but it's alive and it got loose. So they call that the monster door and stuff like that, which is pretty funny. So it's really cool to see all that behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, that's the Brain Scoop. So look that up. One of these channels that really got a good start and is really, you know, you look at their statistics for subscribers, is a big upward curve straight up. So yeah, I would recommend, among, you know, 60 symbols, periodic videos, things like that. I would recommend the Brain Scoop. Very, very cool. And now in my backyard, quite literally. But speaking of backyards, sure, why not? I have to go to sleep underneath this yard in Minecraft. Lost segue. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this episode 293 of Far Lands or Bust. Donate at farlandsorbust.com to Child's Play charity, helping get toys, books, games, and other things to kids in hospitals around the world. Great cause. Great meeting those people at PAX. And until the next episode, my name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Ooh, Minecraft water.